Hello, my name is Treb the Snake and welcome to this review of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. Developed by 3D Vision, this wonderful city building game accumulates an impressive 90% positive reviews on Steam and 96% in the last 30 days. I won't beat around the bush, even in its current early access state, Soviet Republic, I'll call it like that for the rest of the video, is one of my favorite city building game I've ever played. Before telling you why, here's a presentation of the gameplay. As the title suggests, the game is about building a city in the context of the Soviet communist era. Everything is grey and depressive, brutalism is at its peak, while individual liberties reach an historic low, and we love it like that. Without going too deep into comparisons, it could be safe to say that Soviet Republic gets inspiration for its mechanics and concepts from other games. Indeed, its logistics system reminds me of Transport Tycoon, as the population management is somewhat of a mix between SimCity and Anno. With that being said, let's go into details of these core mechanics. We'll go over 4 categories: population, logistics, buildings, and economy. About the population, well, all industries, public services, and stores need people working in them. These people do not come out from nowhere, they live their everyday life in your city, they have free time, school time, work time, and sleep time. They also have needs that you need to fulfill if you don't want them to flee or to die. For example, happiness, health, heating, or alcohol are some of their needs. Since each individual citizen lives its life physically in your town, you also need to make sure they can reach the store to buy food, school to be educated, or the power plant to generate electricity. Which brings us to the logistics. Logistics means transporting goods, resources, and people. It's also about importing or exporting from the borders of the maps. Forklifts, cars, trucks, trains, boats, and planes, and soon helicopters are the types of vehicle you'll be able to use to have an efficient logistics system, which means having the resources and people where you need them and when you need them. For example, you need a bus bringing worker from the residential district to the coal mine, and then a train or trucks from the mine to the power plant, which by the way also need workers. After that, you need a power line to the other industries and the border to export it and make a few rubles or dollar. All vehicles have their advantages and disadvantages, like cargo size, fuel efficiency, because yes, you need to fuel them, power, etc. Likewise, there are different types of roads and railroads available to build. Some are faster but more expensive, others are cheaper, but obviously slower. There are a ton of buildings in Soviet Republic. Industries, like mines, agro-industries, factories, power plants. There are also public services like school, hospitals, kindergartens, because how can your worker go to work if they're 2 years old, has nowhere to go? There are also logistic buildings like construction office and distribution center, to name a few examples. What is amazing in this game is that while you can build instantly like in SimCity by spending a considerable amount of money, you can also build everything yourself. If you do so, you'll use your own trucks to bring the resources like gravel, wood, prefab, steel, etc. and the equipment like crane, excavators, rollers to the construction site. More than that, you'll be able to bring your own population to be the workforce. All of this without being a single ruble, if you're self-sufficient. Because guess what, your population don't get paid and all the materials and the resources that you produce don't cost you a single ruble, if you do assume the whole production chain. Now what about the economy? The economy is both interesting and innovative, and the communist thematic of the game certainly contributes to that. Your republic has borders with both the USSR and the Democratic West. Each custom office located on these borders can buy or sell you resources, but also supply you with their own vehicles and currency. Which means that if you want to buy a Western truck, you need dollar, which will be useless to buy anything from the Soviets. As stated previously, if you're not self-sufficient, which is a long-term goal, you'll have to import most resources and workforce to build anything, and that is very costly. The more you progress, the more you can assume the production of certain resources, which free you from importing them. Same with the workforce, as importing it is very expensive. When your population grows, you can save tons of money by using your own people for free. Making money is very simple. You have to export the resources or goods you produce to the custom office of any border. Obviously, exporting a natural resources like oil earns you less than if you export a transformed product, like fuel. Price fluctuates according to the supply and demand, so it's possible to crash the market by exporting large quantities of the same product for a long time. Now the review. What about the good? Soviet Republic is certainly one of the deepest city building games I've played. It is so satisfying to start from scratch and gradually reach self-sufficiency. As far as I know, there is no equivalent in that genre. Something so trivial in many city building games like building a new production chain is both exciting and scary, as the investment is not without its risk. Debt from importing the money and workforce could set you back in a major way, and building it by yourself means that you will have to monopolize industries, vehicles, and workforce. However, when it's finally done and you start seeing the new influx of money, you have no other choice to be proud of yourself and your republic. Soviet Republic is also very challenging and in a good way. Every rubles and dollars count, and every decision you take is impactful for the development of your city. Even building a residential building is not without choice. Will you let it populate naturally, which takes time, or will you bring immigrants over? If so, do you want educated immigrants who can work as soon as they arrive, or you want to save money and get immigrants from the third world who will need to be educated first? Do you consider that having sudden surge of population will also result in a baby boom, which could result in full schools and kindergartens, and in turn create a worker shortage because their parents have to stay home? This is a single example of what makes this game fun, deep, and challenging. Now the bad. While certainly subjective, it could be stated that the graphics are average at best, especially if we compare them with other major city building titles like Anno 1800, Frostpunk, or Surviving Mars. However, I would say that so far the biggest downside of the game is the lack of quality of life features and the irritating building and road placements. As much as I love this game, I was often frustrated while trying to lay down roads, conveyors, or placing buildings on a difficult terrain. While it's partly understandable because of the EA state, it is still an absolute, terrible, horrific, nightmarish aspect of the game. But you know what? The rest of the game is so amazing that I can deal with that, and I hope it will be the same for those of you who will try the game. Also, 3D Vision is investing time and resources in making this aspect of the game better. So here it is, Workers and Resources Soviet Republic is one of the best city building games I've played, and it's also one of the most challenging, which is generally rare for that genre. While other games cover a single or two aspects of the city building game, I feel like Soviet Republic successfully encompasses all of them and sometimes deepens them, which makes building a republic so satisfying. It's also worth noting that the modding community is very productive and good. It brings more buildings, vehicles, and maps to the game. So here it is, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. It was a pleasure for me to make that video. Thank you very much, take care, and see you next time.